Okay. Good evening and welcome to the Monday, July 14th, 2025 City Council meeting for the City of Lamar. I'm Mayor Kirk Crespin. Of course, over the last few months, we've had a lot of different things happening within the city, some changes that have happened as well. One of the changes that we had was our city administrator had left and I wanted to touch base on that and give this community an update. Since then, we have published the city administrator's request for applications. And as of today, we have 10 applicants for the city administrator, 4 from Colorado. 1 is from Texas, or 4 are from Colorado, 2 are from Texas. 1 is each from Arizona, Kansas, and Washington, and Wisconsin. 7 of the applicants are male, 3 are female, and 1 is Hispanic or Latino. So we do have a good, diverse group of applicants. Of course, that application process is open until the end of this week. And then at the end of this week, we will start reviewing those applicants. Our agency that we're working with will start reviewing them and do the background checks and start narrowing down the search from there. So our hope is within the next month, you should start hearing more movement on this. And by October the 1st is what our goal is, to have somebody in place. So just wanted to provide the community with an update on our city administrator search. As far as our police chief search, we actually have placed that on hold since we do have an interim police chief as of right now with Kevin Ritter. And he's doing a fantastic job as of right now. And we are looking forward to seeing how that goes over the next couple of months before the council makes a decision. So with that said, we are going to move on with our city council meeting. I'd like to start off with our invocation, and we have Anthony Latier here tonight. Anthony?
Lord Jesus, we just thank you, Lord, for just everything you're doing in our city. We thank you for such wonderful leaders and just first responders and everybody who helps us go. And God, we just pray that tonight you continue to pour out your wisdom, direction, and guidance and your future plans for everything that you have here for us and all the community. In Jesus' name, amen.
Councilwoman Mata, would you lead us in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, the time is now 7:02 p.m. I'll call the meeting to order. Roll call.
Joe Gonzalez. Shayla Mata.
Here.
Jerry Jenkins.
Here.
Kurt Crespin.
Here.
David Zavala.
Here.
Manuel Temez.
Here.
Brent Bates.
Present.
Kristen Swartz.
Here.
Lance Cork.
Here. All right. We've all had an opportunity to review the consent agenda. I did not see any items that needed to be separated. Were there any other council members that saw items that needed to be voted on separately?
I did not.
Okay, seeing none, do we have a motion for the consent agenda?
So moved. Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify with an aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. David?
Sorry.
Unanimous in favor of.
Okay. Next on the agenda is the audience participation portion of this meeting. During this portion of the meeting, anyone may speak on any subject that does not appear on the agenda. Individual speakers are limited to 3 minutes each, and that is at the discretion of the council. Is there anyone that would like to speak to the council on an item on the agenda? Okay. I'm sorry?
Not on the agenda.
Either one, whether it's on or off, you're welcome to speak. If you'd like to come up. And you just need to provide your name for the records. And address is what it asks for.
Shelby Williams from Lamar, Colorado.
Okay. Go ahead, start.
Hello.
Yes. Just let us know when you're ready. We'll start the 3 minutes.
Okay.
Okay,
First of all, I want to I think just a little bit of your time education on the United States Constitution. You remember that oath you swore, Jeff? Okay. The city ordinance here in Lamar obstructed a police officer. Yeah, that's what I'm requesting for, obstructing a police officer. Funny thing about it is, you know, when I was doing was exercising my freedom of speech. We do have that in. This is an unconstitutional ordinance. And my constitutional rights cannot be turned into a crime. Oh, not unless you live up the mark of right, then it can be. No, a city cannot enact an ordinance or law that is in direct violation of the United States Constitution. Additionally, a state cannot enact an ordinance or law that is in direct violation of the United States Constitution. I'd like to say thanks to my buddies, City Attorney Lance Clark, Municipal Judge Lane Porter, Lamar Police Department. You are hereby put on notice.
okay. Thank you very much. Is there anyone else who would like to speak to the council on an item? Yes, sir. Yeah, just hit the reset.
I'm Anthony Lettier. I just got a quick question. I've been noticing some of the murals, I think that they're called around town. We have the American flag and the first responders tribute. So I'm doing some renovation on our church building and we wanted to do kind of like the same thing and do like a mural of our church. I just didn't know if I'm supposed to ask you guys for permission on that, or if you need to see like plans, or are we allowed to go ahead and make that decision? And I figured since I was here, I just asked it. So I won't try to waste your time, but I was thinking, hey, what an opportunity just. To find out.
Well, we usually don't answer and engage, but this one's an easy answer. So
Sorry.
I would recommend if you could reach out to Anne Marie Crimpton.
Okay.
Our Community Development Director. She has been working with those groups and organizations to get that passed through, and they have an application that they go through on the process, and she can get you set up.
Hey, my apologies.
No problem, no problem at all. Thank you. All right, anyone else who would like to speak to the council on an item? Well, it was good to see a couple of individuals that would come in and talk to the council. Of course, that is your time to speak. It is just 3 minutes, but that's always at the discretion of the council. If it's something we need more information on, we always would provide more if we needed to. So thank you for those who participated tonight. Next up, we're going to go to reports and correspondence. So actually, I have that separate. The city treasurer's report. Thank you,
Okay.
Kristen.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. I usually give a grants update. I don't have much tonight. We're closing out a couple of grants, the Main Street mini grant, and we're closing out the comprehensive plan grant and some of those like that. We're working on finding grants, getting some information on ones for the public safety building. We're waiting on setting up a meeting with CDOT on the TAP grant, so we're moving forward on it. So right now we're just maintaining and looking for new ones to apply for. We've been working through some water ones as well, so we're working on those as well. So that's all I have, unless somebody's got some specific questions for me on grants.
Do not.
Okay. And then the other thing I wanted to give you an update on, the audit is complete. I've put the final audit, the hard copies, the bound copies at your stations tonight, and the letter is in there of his decision on the audit. So I thought that was helpful. He will be presenting the audit at the next meeting as a work session. So that'll be before you at the next meeting, but I thought this would give you some time to go through it. As soon as I have the electronic copy, I'll also forward you one of those. I don't have one at this time, so he hasn't sent it to me yet. So, and then that's all I had for tonight, unless you guys have any questions for me.
Any questions? I think we're good. Thank you. All right, city clerk's report.
So our May sales and use tax collected in June was $434,210.32, which was down 0.03% or $141.02. Our year-to-date sales were $2,754,840.17, which was up 3.65% or $97,015.01. And that's all I have this evening, unless there's questions.
Do we have any questions from the council?
Thank you. Thank you, Kristen.
Okay, thank you both. All right, we'll move on to the mayor and council member, the update from the city administrators, which would be Manuel and I. As far as events go, the 35th annual men's windmill softball tournament was this past weekend. It was a good success. I've heard great involvement and activities along with that, so that was great. The Aaron Watson concert was this past weekend as well. I heard that was a very good, well-attended event as well. Next week, we do have the Lamar Chamber Glow Golf Tournament on Saturday, July 19th from 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. You'll need to contact the Lamar Chamber of Commerce to register or to get more details. The 5th annual Prowers County 4-H Fun Shoot, Saturday, July the 19th at 8 a.m. until 2 p.m. For more information, you can contact Amber Comer at 719-336-7734. Lamar BMS is having their grand reopening as they convert over to an Ace Hardware. They've made some major investments in their actual storefront, and inside the store, it looks great. And that is going to be happening this Saturday, July the 19th. There's going to be prizes, free hot dogs, and lots of goodies. So if you are able to attend, that'll be happening this weekend. Next up is the Corporate Cup. That's on Wednesday, July the 30th to Saturday, August the 2nd. That is sponsored by Main Street Lamar, or the Lamar Partners, Inc. And I'm sure we can get some updates on that. But if you are wanting more information, you can call the city to get more information on that. We do have department updates. I will pass it on to Manuel.
For the fire department, ladder testing begins tomorrow. It will last 2 days. This helps us to verify that our ground ladders and aerial apparatus are in safe working condition. The fire department helped cook at the Lamar Social at the park on Friday night. Everybody had a good time. It was a good turnout, and it was great to have another one of those. The library. Today's the last day to log books for the summer reading program. You have until midnight tonight. The summer reading program will wrap up with a pizza party and award ceremony for the participants on Monday, July 21st at the Lamar Swimming Pool, beginning at 6:30 p.m. For the police department, they're continuing to work towards modernization of equipment and training. The police department has seen calls for service increase this year, approximately 50% over the January to July 1st of 2024.
That's a pretty significant increase.
It is a
50% increase from January, July from last year.
Wow.
Parks and Recreation staff has been working really hard, of course, over this past weekend, as I mentioned, with the windmill tournament. They've been working, getting prepared for that. They also did a wonderful job preparing the Willow Creek Park for our Friday night community social, which was a great event as well. So thank you to the staff at Parks and Recreation Department. They've done a wonderful job for both events. They've also been working on Escondido Park. All of the new sod has been laid down on the Running Lopes field, and it looks good. There's additional watering. We're asking people to stay away from that park, and we will be trying to block that off while the grass takes root. So that'll be an important part of the process. Staff has also been out at North Gateway Park working on the fishing dock and the surrounding area. Public Works assisted them with laying the concrete and getting the walkway down for the north side on Pond 2. The north side end, they are getting ready to put in the floating fishing dock for that surrounding area. One thing that I did want to mention is that we did get notice today from the Division of Wildlife, or Division of Parks and Rec. I guess it's Parks and Wildlife, my apologies. That there is a lot of fish showing up dead and floating on Pond 2 at North Gateway Park. This is not due to some big contamination or bigger issue. The issue that has been verified by Colorado Parks and Wildlife is that the extreme heat has brought the water temperatures above 75 degrees for a few days in a row. And because of that increase in temperature and because of the shallow depth of the Pond 2, those fish cannot move away from the heat and some of them are dying. That's why we focus pond number 1 as our main fishing pond, because it is so deep that the trout can get down lower and survive these summer temperatures. So if you do see fish floating or dying fish in the park, it is, we are aware of it and we are trying to take action on it. We're working with Parks and Wildlife. They are trying to determine what something that we can do to assist that. Let's see. IT department, they're wrapping up their updates with Aclara system. This is for the meter reading system. They're now going to Aclara 1 server and the hardware aspect of the project is now finished. They're now working on to get the information ready for the ADG for billing. They have been working really hard on our new project, which is converting to the Tyler system, which is our whole integrated platform for the city management. Working on a better backup solution before they go live. They're also working to expand the on-premise and cloud storage to accommodate the new information. Community development. The community social was a success and the residents had a great time swimming, socializing, and watching a movie together last Friday. Great job to Brenda May and Anne Marie and her team for working on this, as well as Courtney for helping with all of the marketing materials and coordinating with our partners at High Plains, Browers Medical Center, and Lamar Community College. It was a great event, and thank you all. Our Chief Building Inspector, Stephanie Struby, is transitioning into a position within Public Works. This has allowed the city to add capacity to the building department by restructuring and hiring 2 building inspectors. The city will be posting new job openings soon. Currently, we're posting that within the city departments to offer it to the city staff first. So if you are interested, you can contact Human Resources here at the City of Lamar for additional information. Community Development is also revising the city's outdated subdivision and zoning codes to matching grant through SCCED. Our consultant, Michael Yerman, has met with the city's Planning and Zoning Commission to discuss his suggestions. For the first round of revisions, Planning and Zoning's next meeting will be on August the 14th. Last but not least, the marketing coordinator has been working really hard and diligently to make our website as accessible as possible. They're now up to a score of 97 of 100, with only 6 documents that are inaccessible from over 200 different documents. So great job and congratulations on great work. Thank you. Last but not least, Public Works. And I could talk about Public Works for hours. They have so many different projects that are in there. They are currently working on repairs at the animal shelter. However, I do know they've been working on potholes and getting ready to start their street program here pretty soon, within the next month, I believe, if I remember right. Pat's not here tonight, but I know they have been working very diligently and helping out all the different departments. They were integral in helping out with Escondido, getting it prepped and ready, and they will continue to do so. So thank you to them. And of course, work is ongoing with Public Works as far as working on the new wastewater treatment plant. And we've been continuing meetings and discussions and investigations and so on, right, Lance?
Yep.
It's a long process.
Moving forward.
Moving forward. All right, any questions for the city administrator roles? Okay, with that said, we will move on to reports and correspondence from the council. Shayla?
So the airport board will be meeting on Wednesday of this week, and I will have a report next week or next meeting.
Okay. Jerry?
Public Safety Board is supposed to meet this week, this week on the 17th, but that meeting is being postponed because of vacations and stuff. So our next meeting will be the 21st of August.
Okay. David?
Yeah, we had a meeting at the planning and zoning, with Michael Yerman on chapter 30, zoning, which is, I guess we'll be moving forward. Everything else, and that's all I have.
Okay, Manuel.
Water board did meet, and Robbie gave us just an overview of the wells, and in comparison from last year at this time, we're doing extremely well. Some of the wells are 2 feet over what they were last year at this time, some of them even close to 3, and so canals are running. The wells are looking good, and so we're in really good position this year with our water wells.
That's good to hear. Brent.
So as Kristen mentioned, Main Street the Main Street program is working on their next round of DOLA funding. I think we're just waiting on details on what we're getting this time.
I checked with them last week and they said they don't have any answers yet. They're
Yeah.
just waiting on their higher ups to let them know what that funding's gonna look like.
Yep. So, in the meantime, the board's prioritizing projects that have been discussed in the strategic plan and annual work plan. We did just complete the last project for the last round of funding with the storyboard displays at the Welcome Center. Those got finished on the deadline, June 30th. So shout out to Brenda and Anne Marie and Kristen and everyone involved for getting that done on time. Like I mentioned, we did just update our strategic plan as well as the annual work plan. And as mentioned earlier, the corporate cup is July 30th through August 2nd. There's no more room for teams. We will always take more sponsors. And if you are a food truck, reach out to Brenda May, 719-336-1445 if you would like to set up shop at any of those events. That's all I got.
Okay. As for me, I did have a meeting with the Prowers Economic Prosperity, discussing different ways that we can work together moving forward in the future and on economic development efforts. I know since I've become mayor, I've been really trying to be proactive in finding opportunities and doing the sales side of economic development. And it would be great if we can all work together with county as well as with Prowers Economic Prosperity and all of our other partners. So we reached out and had a meeting with that. We will continue those discussions and see if we can streamline some of our processes to make it more effective for everyone. So I'm looking forward to those continued discussions. One thing about this portion of the meeting, reports and correspondence from the council, is it also gives the council an opportunity to talk about any correspondence that we receive. And I'm stopping to take a moment to say this because over the last few weeks, of course, the big thing has been fireworks. I've also received calls about people running stop signs. I've received calls about potholes. I've received calls about loose dogs. I've received calls about arguments in the street. I've received multiple calls on my own, whether it's my personal cell phone or on Messenger or on text. And I guess I wanted to reiterate, and I wanted to take this moment to reiterate, it's great that you know that my door is always open, that I welcome everybody that wants to come and talk to me, and I'm willing to sit down and talk with anybody about their concerns within the city. I don't want the community to take this wrong, but it makes it very difficult for our police officers to take action if all you're doing is either calling the mayor or calling a council member or talking about it on Facebook. We really need, and on every discussion that I've had with these individuals, I've tried to reinforce the need and how necessary it is for you to call dispatch and place an actual complaint in dispatch. The more complaints they get, the stronger of a case they can build against these individuals, whether it's for fireworks, whether it's in areas where we know there may be drugs that they need to go investigate, whatever the case may be, we need to have those documented, and I can't enforce that enough. So if you do have concerns and you're not feeling like you're getting any action, then, you know, you're more than welcome to contact your council member or your mayor. But I think the first step is that I'd like to reiterate is that we really need you to document every single one of these. So please place a call into dispatch. Make sure you're getting that documented so that they can act on it. Is that fair to say, Chief Ritter?
Yes, sir.
All right. It just seems to be an ongoing thing where I don't want to enable that to happen more and more. And we do, because I did have a conversation and I did have a meeting with the district attorney over the last couple of weeks. And one of those discussions was, how can we build stronger cases? So that way we can ensure that these cases are getting charged and convicted. And the best way that we can do that is to ensure there's documentation to go along with those complaints. So please do so. Help us make sure our community is safe by documenting it and making those calls. That's all I was going to mention on that one. Okay, next up on the agenda, unless there are any other discussion, anything else? Okay. Next up on the agenda is ordinance number 1280, an ordinance adding a new Article 3, sections 15 to 55 to 16 through 57 to Chapter 6, prohibiting perpetual, prolonged, and extended year sales in both residential and commercially zoned areas to the city of Lamar. I think that's meant to say extended yard sales to that. So since we already read this on the first reading, we will need to read it on the second. I will go ahead and read it and see if I can zip through this as quick as I can. Ordinance 1280, an ordinance adding a new Article 3, sections 15 through 55 to sections 15 through 57 to Chapter 16, prohibiting perpetual, prolonged, and extended yard sales in both residential and all other zoned areas within the city of Lamar, Colorado. Whereas Colorado Revised Statutes 3115-401 grants general police powers to the city council to promulgate ordinances for the health, safety, and welfare of the public. And whereas City Council of the City of Lamar has determined that persons, organizations, and or businesses have conducted yard, garage, rummage sales, and or flea markets in either residential or other zoned areas of the City of Lamar and left areas cluttered with property for prolonged periods of times, impeded traffic and parking areas of surrounding residential homes or other commercial businesses. And whereas the City Council has further determined that said perpetual, prolonged, and extended yard, garage sales and or flea markets should be regulated for the preservation of the public safety and welfare and the compliance of both residential and or other zoned areas. Now, therefore, be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Lamar, Colorado, Part 1, the Lamar Municipal Code, Chapter 16, is hereby amended by this new edition of the new Article 3, yard sales, section 16 through 55 to 16 through 57, which reads as follows. Article 3, yard sales, section 16 through 55, purpose. This regulation is designed to control and restrict the number and time of any yard, garage, rummage sales, and or flea markets in order to protect the public health, safety, and convenience, and to restrict such sales to casual and occasional occurrences only, in keeping with the character of the neighborhood where the activity is carried on in compliance with the city's zoning regulations. The intent of this section is to eliminate perpetual, prolonged, and extended yard, garage, rummage sales, and or flea markets in residential and other zoned areas. Such sales, when continued indefinitely, become an unlicensed business when done in commercial areas and residential areas. It creates a nuisance, causes traffic congestion, disturbs the peace of others, and can violate zoning regulations. Any person selling items for resale is required to hold a City of Lamar business license and the sales tax license, as well as collect and remit sales tax to the City of Lamar, Colorado. This regulation is intended to treat any and all individuals and businesses with the same fairness and requirements. Section 1656, definitions. As used in this section, the following terms shall have the meanings indicated. Yard sale includes all general sales open to the public conducted from or on a residential commercial premise or on any residential or all other zoned properties as defined by Chapter 16 of this code for the purpose of disposing of new, used, and secondhand items of personal property, including but not limited to all sales entitled garage, lawn, yard, attic, porch, room, backyard, patio, flea market, moving estate, or rummage. Section B, personal property. This means property which is owned, utilized, maintained by an individual or members of his, her residence and acquired in the normal course of living in or maintaining a residence. It does not include merchandise which was purchased for resale or obtained on consignment. C, resale merchandise means merchandise which was purchased for resale or obtained from other yard sale type locations, consignment or auction intended to resale. Section 16-57, restriction of yard sales. A, it is unlawful for any person, firm, organization, or corporation to sell or offer for sale under authority granted by this section, property or other tangible personal property. B, it is unlawful for any person, firm, organization, or corporation to allow a yard sale or sell items for resale on any other zone property other than the residential zone property without having or acting under a City of Lamar business and sales tax license for the collection and remit of sales tax to the City of Lamar. C, yard sales shall be limited in time to daylight hours and for 3 consecutive weekdays or 2 consecutive weekends, Saturday and Sunday, and limited to no more than 4 times per calendar year at the same place. D, goods may not be stored outside during the non-daylight hours. E, members of more than one residence may join in conducting a yard sale at the residence of one of them. F, any person not in possession of any other zone property must obtain written permission from a property owner and provide a copy of the city to the city clerk's office to be included with their business sales tax application. G, the owner, occupant, or tenant of the premises on which such sale activity is conducted shall be jointly and severally responsible for all conduct on property and shall not allow a hindrance to traffic, disturbance to the peace of others, or access to another's property or violation of any other municipal codes. H, all persons must follow both City of Lamar Municipal Code, Section 14-28 and 16-31, posting of handbills, posters, or placards. I, any person convicted in violating the prohibitions of this section shall be punished in accordance with provisions of sections 1 through 21 of this code. Each day an offense continues shall constitute a separate offense. All right, introduce, read in full, and pass on the first reading on 23rd of June. And tonight we will need to pass it on the second reading.
Make the motion to pass ordinance on second reading and request to be published.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Is there any final discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify with an eye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Unanimous in favor of.
All right. Moving on to the next item on the agenda. We have a Parks and Recreation Advisory Board appointment. This is initiated by Anthony Latour. Doesn't look like he is here tonight, so I will go ahead and speak on that. Nathan Losa had resigned from the board due to his scheduling conflicts. This created one vacancy on the Parks and Recreation Advisory Board. The City Council Policy and Procedure Manual requires that all vacancies on the city boards and commissions be advertised with the local media. Copies of the position vacancy were advertised in the Prowers Journal, Cuyahoga County Press, the City of Lamar website, and KVAY radio. 3 applications were received for the position. The Parks and Recreation Advisory Board is recommending that Jill Bellamy be appointed to the board to finish the unexpired vacant term. And you will see her application that is included in there.
I move to approve the Park and Rec Advisory Board's recommendation of appointing Jill Bellamy to fill the unexpired 3-year term expiring on February 1st, 2026.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify with an eye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Unanimous in favor of.
Okay. Next item on the agenda is Shared Memories, a memorandum of understanding with Pueblo City County Library District. This is initiated by our librarian, Sue Lapra. Sue, good evening.
I'd like you to sign this memo of understanding with the Pueblo County City County Library District. They received a grant from the Mellon Foundation, and what this grant does is it allows us to have everybody pull out that box in their house with all of the pictures and letters and photos of their past and digitize them so that they're not lost to history. We know that everybody who's famous or active, they get documented. This will allow the preservation of everybody. So that's what this program is about. This particular grant allows them to start a digitization lab in Lamar Public Library, as well as other places in Southeast Colorado, where you can bring in your old videotapes, your photos, your anything basically and have it digitized, loaded to the cloud. And then, you know, depending on what your personal preferences are, you can either just take a drive home with you, you have to provide the drive, or you can leave it in the cloud, but it's your information. So you can decide whether it's public information, anybody can see your photos, or whether it's private, just whoever can get access to. So it's really a diverse program. The best part of it, for our purposes, is they're providing all this equipment, the training, programs, and all we have to do is say yes. So we don't have to pay for it. At the end of the program, which is in March 2029, the assumption is that we would keep the equipment after that time. That could change. It is their equipment, but most likely, since it would be, you know, older equipment, they probably wouldn't ask for that. At any rate, it just sounds like a great opportunity. And I have had Lance review this memo, so
And what is the term on the memo? I didn't read through, sorry.
until March 2020.
2028. Okay, just making sure I have the right date.
So we train local staff to be able to help people as they come in to
Yes,
do that work.
Yeah.
Okay.
there's several training, plus there's ongoing support. So for whatever reason we needed to train someone else, we would be able to get that help.
And is there any limitations to the types of materials that they're bringing in, 8mm, mini cam?
So far, I mean, they're pretty extensive on the list of things that can be done.
Sorry.
That's negative slides, VHS tapes, audio cassettes, floppy disks, or oral history, oversized materials. And chances are pretty good if something comes in that we don't have the equipment for, that we'll be able to find a resource that material could be saved. And that is the purpose, is to save this information before it degenerates.
Everything looks good?
I don't have an issue with it. I think we kind of talked about too, I mean, I'm kind of thinking about it again, I don't think it's a bad idea to have kind of maybe a one-page information sheet if it's at a computer. That just regarding like if someone wants to make it public or private, just instructing them that they have that, or make sure that it's private if they don't want it to be public. So I just think.
Yes.
I think that would be the biggest issue. I think that potentially could
If
have.
they accidentally make it public and then.
Yeah.
Try to hold the city liable for something.
Yeah, I mean, I just think putting them on notice of what that step is. Obviously, they're gonna go through the training, so they're gonna be aware of that, but just as much as, you know, even if it's one computer in one corner, you can put something there to kind of inform them
Mhm.
that
And
information.
they load this information up to make sure that they have to agree to that before they're even allowed.
Okay.
I think it's a great thing. I'm sure we all have family members who we don't know what to do with those old photos and stuff. I think it's something that I'd like to see promoted once training's done on the Facebook page and website. And I make a motion to approve the request as outlined. That's all it says to do.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any other questions? Seeing none, all those in favor signify with an eye.
All right.
Opposed, same sign.
Unanimous in favor of?
Thank you. Okay, agenda item number 3, award traffic study update proposal. Over the last year, we have discussed this traffic study for quite extensively, and I know Kristen and the previous police chief, as well as some of the staff, has worked really hard on trying to obtain quotes for this. We had reached out to the group, the organization, Kimley Horn, who is still in service, and they are the ones that did our previous traffic safety evaluation or traffic study. And we have asked them to do an update to the past traffic study using the same framework and the same terms as we did before. And they did come back with the proposal. Kristen, did you want to talk about those on where we ended up on pricing and all of that?
So we had 3 respond back to us. Thank you to Chief Ritter, who answered endless questions from a couple of the firms. We are recommending that we give the bid to Kimley Horn just for the sure fact that they're updating their own plan. They have knowledge of the city. Their prices are in line with the other 2 bids. One was 40,000, one was 80. There was quite a range. I think this one will land somewhere in the middle by the time you take into account their hourly rates and things like that. So we're recommending that we award this bid for the traffic study to Kimley Horn and allow the mayor to sign the agreement. Now, as a reminder, this study is being paid for by the ARP NEU funding that we received back in 2021.
Yes. Did they have any sort of rough estimate of how many hours would be involved with that rate?
They haven't given us, a time, but they thought they could have it done within weeks, I think, is what they told Kirk and I. So I don't anticipate the hours to be extraordinary. Plus, they already have knowledge of the town, and they'll work with Chief Ritter on identifying some of, if we have certain intersections or things like that, that we want to focus on and get a closer study on. So staff will be working with them and add whoever else needs to be contacted.
Significant thing on this one is that it's a little bit more in depth than the other ones we're doing. The other ones we're looking at specific intersections. Whereas Kimley Horn in the past, and what we had asked them to do again was to go around and look at different intersections that may be issues. As you can see from the previous one from 2005, they identified bridges that may have not been very safe for walking or for traffic, or intersections where trees were covering the stop sign, or traffic, if you go into the details as far as traffic patterns. So it was a little bit more in depth where they give some options throughout the whole city rather than just in specific intersections. So that was one of the things that I liked about that one, this update, is that they already are familiar with a lot of them.
Yeah.
But our intent is to try to find where there may be consistent issues, whether it's high speeds or needing additional stop signs in certain areas or speed bumps or whatever it may be to help traffic safety in the city. And I think this could be beneficial for us.
If any of their information is taken in from like the 287 corridor, one of the presentations we had expressed that, that traffic is going to increase as the years go on. And I don't know if they take any of that into consideration.
This study would be, I didn't ask them if they would contact CDOT. I know CDOT has been doing their traffic counts over the last few weeks. May have noticed the traffic counters on Main Street as well as other intersections where they're trying to do the traffic counts. But I did not ask them if they would reach out to CDOT to ask about that. We were mainly focusing on city streets, not the state ones. So maybe we can ask them to engage them and at least get us some counts. But does that sound about right on what we were talking about?
And I've also given you the addendum that Lance prepared. He reviewed the letter of agreement, and you've got an addendum in front of you that we'll need to include. So, and have the mayor sign that as well. So if that could be included in your motion.
So I don't know if this answers your question, Manuel, but on the Kim Horn one, it talks about just using within city limit data for traffic and crashes. I do notice on the Olson, it does point out specifically that they will be crash data for the city will be provided by the city of Lamar, Lamar Police Department, and the Colorado Department of Transportation. So I think that'd be something important to figure out. I notice as well that it says up to 6 locations for bidirectional speed evaluation over a 24-hour period. Have you discussed or thought of where those will be?
To a limited degree, yes.
Okay, I would just like to recommend that one of them be on that Oak Street corridor that kind of brought all of this to light.
Right.
Because that is the location that kind of, there was an incident that spurred the conversation into getting this update done. So I would just like to see that road West Oak to 14th have something in that area, because that is a very, as you guys know, people love to speed down that trying to avoid Main Street. So,
I think it's on both sides of Oak going towards Safeway as well.
Yeah,
We haven't
yeah,
had any accidents, but
yeah,
I think there are just some sections in the city, whether it's in that area of Oak or on
Parmenter,
14th going through the high
Parmenter East is
school.
another one.
Yeah, so it's gonna be hard to pick out 6 or a handful of them. But I'm sure they can get that figured out.
Well, and to Manuel's point, CDOT, I think, just completed their own study on Main Street. So if they could collaborate with that and utilize those 6 locations across other side streets, that'd be great.
So do we have a motion?
I move to approve the, hold on, all the way down at the bottom, but I move to approve awarding the update of the 2005 traffic study to Kinley Horn and allow the mayor to sign the letter of agreement with the addendum as presented.
Second.
Okay, any other discussion on this before we determine a vote? You have looked it over and we have the addendum.
Yep.
You did add the addendum to your. You did, yep.
I just want to say one thing before we vote. We can do traffic studies, we can put speed signs up, we can put, all these mitigation pieces out. It is up to you guys as the community to have some common sense and drive respectfully of your neighbors and the children walking around. And remember that this is a small community, and one bad decision in your car can lead to a lifetime of grief for a family and friends.
Agreed. And referring back to my previous comments, that if you are saying something to say something, and that means calling in. If you are seeing, even if we place a stop sign in every corner, our officers can't be at every location of the city. It's gonna take the cooperation of the community as well. Rather than just complaining on social media or any place else, we need to make sure to make the calls and get the reports placed.
And I know Chief Ritter and the police department is aware of the speeding and racing on 14th, on Memorial, all over town. I can tell you, as someone who used to do that, you will eventually get caught. I can promise you that. And you can either decide to proactively make decisions that could change your life and those of others, or you can get caught, and hopefully the worst of it is a ticket instead of some traumatic injury or death.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Any final questions? Are we good?
Good.
Seeing none, all those in favor signify with an eye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Unanimous in favor of.
Okay, next item on the agenda is award bid 45007 for janitorial services at the Welcome Center. It's initiated by Kristen.
Yes, we solicited proposals for our annual janitorial services at the Welcome Center. Our bid packets were mailed and requests for proposals were advertised in the local paper on July 4th. One bid was received and accepted by the city treasurer by 5 p.m. on July 8th. Bid opening was held on July 9th. Staff is recommending that you award bid 45007 for the janitorial services at the Welcome Center to Daniel Newhold and allow the mayor to sign the agreement. He has been doing this for years, and I didn't go count how many, and he hasn't raised his prices in the last at least 4 years.
Which paper was that in? I was just curious.
Iowa County, our legal paper of record.
Okay, the reason why I asked is I did have somebody complaining that it was published on the 4th and it just gave them 4 days to get everything gathered and submitted, and they didn't have time to get it submitted. So I just didn't know if we did it just the one time or was there multiple times?
No, we just advertise it.
The one time. Okay. So if we can extend that next year a little bit, that might be good.
We can work
just
on that,
as
get it
back-
out earlier.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Any other questions? Do we have a motion?
I move that we award the bid to Daniel Nichol.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any questions? Seeing none? All those in favor signify with an eye.
All right.
Opposed, same sign.
Unanimous in favor of?
Okay. Next item on the agenda, agreement for Lamar Police Department body worn cameras. This was initiated by Interim Chief Kevin Ritter. Kevin, would you like to speak on this?
Yes, just briefly, there's not too much more that I would add that information. Other than it's kind of the point a lot of where it's one of those, some issue of a need, unfortunately. The current systems that we have, in place since 2015. They're not being paid anymore. We can't get replacement parts, we can get batteries, technology is sensitive. So in order to continue to comply with the Senate Bill 272, requires the staff of the agency to utilize the purchase body and we have to use them. We're at the point where we just have to transfer over to a different system. What we have isn't sustainable, if we're going to spare it. So we're not able to get batteries, we tried a couple of months ago. It's like trying to find parts for a 21 model. Just pretty much can't do it. As far as Axon goes, it's kind of the industry standard, and they have worked with us several times, specifically in Cheryl, to get a very good price. We tried one in transit. One of those was about $19,000 higher. For Axon. And with this package, it's a complete package. It also includes storage. We alleviate and increase the cost of service downstairs. We'll store all this data. Nowadays, provides the hardware. Hardware. It also provides redaction. So when we get records requests, the body cam. It's a pretty extensive process. We use a program that is a pay as you play. Sometimes that could be hundreds of dollars. Well, there are statutes that allow us to that the person requested, but that's going to eliminate a lot of time of that our staff do that. So again, this is kind of the industry standard Axon, and it's a point to where we just have in order to maintain compliance with this.
As I had mentioned earlier, I did have that meeting with the district attorney, and the district attorney was discussing how it's gotten difficult to actually follow through with a lot of these cases because it has video but no voice, or voice but no video, or they're blurred, or there's issues with the cameras not working. And it's very hard to have a conviction if he doesn't have the evidence that he needs. And he did ask about the body camera specifically and asked if there was any way to assist the police department in getting this done. And Interim Chief has done a great job on trying to get a good price. And we have talked to Kristen about this. We should be able to work on that with the budget over the next few years and see if we can find a way to.
They're splitting the payments, so we'll have 2 small payments to start with and then annual payments. And I did want to mention the one in your packet is an older version. We have since corrected some things. Kirk will sign the corrected version. We needed it made to the city of Lamar, not the Lamar Police Department. So I just wanted to mention that. And it does refer to in this, you're accepting the quote, but there's a line in there that says you're also accepting the master agreement. So in the motion, we need it to say that you're accepting the quote. We agree to comply with the master agreement along with their Colorado addendum. And that covered all of our Tabor language. The attorney has reviewed both agreements, the addendum and the master agreement. So in the motion, I need that to be included, please.
And that first payment that falls in September 49.15 and 72 cents we're good for right now in the
Yes,
budget.
we're gonna have to take that out of the police department, but we'll be able to,
Okay. good.
or I may find some money in the 20 fund, but yes, we've got that covered in the first payment of the 2,000. I believe it was due at the first of the year. And then our annual payment. So you'll see that come up as an annual payment in the budget. And I'll include the 2,000 with the 60. So
And we tried to adjust that first to the second payment to make it more affordable because we don't have it budgeted as of today.
Right.
So we were trying to make it to do that.
Generous to do that.
Yes.
110%.
Mhm.
Again, Axon's been really accommodating. It seemed to be really wanting to get this and work with us, so we can get this implemented soon.
Did you want to add anything?
Sorry, one last point, in consideration of some of these, you may have to budget replacement cameras and those in the cars. But that isn't the case with this, once you're under contract or something fails, you get a new one. My understanding is about halfway through the contract, you're about 2.5 years. You cycle out all of them and do your brand ones, features and those updates. So you're never gonna have to plan, I gotta replace 8 this year, I'm gonna replace 8 next year, and so on and so forth. So we don't get this done kind of in a position now where we have to pay up all the money and all the funds and replace everything up to the once. It's a great.
Okay. Did you have anything you wanted to add, Lance?
No, so the addendum, the Colorado addendum is basically the state, I think, because there's probably so many municipalities that use Axon. The governor signed an agreement addendum with them that basically incorporates changes that I would recommend in certain facets of the agreement or the master service agreement with the Tabor language with some limitations as the indemnification. So those are contained on that addendum itself that the state has entered. So that's the reason for doing that.
Okay.
This is one of those things that kind of got looked over and was brought originally by Chief Fear, and you're following up and finishing up with.
Yes, this was one of the main things during this assessment when it first came here that needed to be addressed pretty much immediately. Just because the other systems, they're dropping off very quickly, which is concerns.
this is something you gave us permission to apply back in, I believe it was October or November. We have a grant with the JAG program, the Department of Justice. That's all been put on hold with these funding restraints that have been put on by the government. So, we tried to go as long as we could without getting answers. That was a combination of cameras, body cameras, in-car cameras. I think there were 2 or 3 things listed, tasers. We had trying to do a package deal on that, but we just could not wait any longer on this piece. So if we would happen to some chance get awarded that grant, we would modify the amounts with JAG, the JAG.
Can you repeat what that motion needs to be? It's to enter into the proposed 5-year contract and also accept the master agreement with Colorado addendum.
Yes.
I make a motion to do that.
Second.
My favorite thing to do.
You did.
Question motion. Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any final questions? Seeing none, all those in favor signify with an eye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Unanimous in favor of.
Okay. We'll get
Thank you very
started.
much.
Thank you.
for work on this.
Next item on the agenda is miscellaneous items. Do we have any miscellaneous items that we need to go over?
I do want to make an announcement since I forgot to earlier. Reminder, Southeast Colorado Cancer Initiative's 2nd annual Fight Night fundraiser is coming up on August 2nd, 5:30 p.m. in the Pocket Park. Music by Judy, tons of giveaways. Shout out to all the corporate and private sponsors. They've come in really strong this year. Like, it's been really incredible. August 2nd, 5:30 p.m. Pocket Park. Be there, be square.
Okay. And then next, for the next meeting is on July 28th, 2025. I will not be here on attendance. I will be out of town. But our Mayor Pro Tem will be stepping in and taking over the next meeting. So you can look forward to that.
Kevin, I would like to thank you and your guys for the hard work you do. I hate sounding like a grouch, but I just want to thank you guys I've seen the hard work you're doing.
I'll be honest on the street.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, next item on the agenda is executive session for the purpose of determining positions relative to matters that may be subject to negotiations, developing strategy for negotiations, and or instructing negotiators under Colorado Revised Statutes 24-6, 402, subsection 4, subsection E, regarding the city administrator's search. There will be no decisions coming out of this executive session. Immediately following the executive session, we will immediately adjourn the standard meeting. Do we have a motion to go into the executive
So
session?
moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify with an eye. Opposed, same sign.
Unanimous in favor of?
All right, our next council meeting, as I said, will be Monday, July 28th, 2025 at 7 p.m. Thank you all for joining us tonight, and we hope to see